In real life or death gunfights, immediately after the gunfighting is over, you may not be able to predict how you'll respond emotionally. Hi friends, welcome to today's bonus badge cam lesson here at Active Self-Protection. I'm your host as always, John Correa.
And I'm your co-host, Mike Williver, and today's video comes to us from Atlanta, Georgia.
Palm pepper spray has recently reformulated for even more effect when you bless the deserving with the hot sauce. Palm is what I use between a harsh word and a gun and encourage everyone to do likewise. Officers are on scene for a 911 call of a domestic disturbance between two people they think are in the house who are actually in the car. Let's listen into the shenanigans.
What's going on? A female call.
My mama called. Oh, okay. I'm trying to leave. Okay, what's going on? He needs to get out my truck.
Huh?
He needs to get out my truck. Y'all two in the street? Yes. Alright, what's going on? He's my husband. I'm trying to leave. He don't want you to go? Where you trying to go? I'm going to my daughter's house. Okay. Y'all know Officer Copeland? You going to your daughter's house that day? He came out here the first time. Yeah. We getting divorced today. You going to your daughter's house today?
You reaching for something over there?
I might be.
Say that.
Well, that's some stupid shit to say, man.
Okay.
Bro, what are you doing? Might be. Bro, you got your hand on a gun. What's up? I took my gun, but it's no bullet. It's mine. But there's no bullets left. He just shot out some tires. Shot some tires? He shot my truck. What'd you say? What'd you say? Get out my truck. I need to do what? He just stuff out my truck. I need to do who? What stuff you have in the truck, man? I need to do who? You got the keys? I need to do who? Hold on. Alright, so you got the vehicle. I need to do who? No, I'm not getting here. To the real police pull up. Is this yours? Yes, it's my truck. Alright, cool. I'm not getting here to the real police get here. Alright, sir. I'm telling you, I'm not getting here to the real police get here. If you punch me or whatever, I'm gonna record or whatever. You don't want the building here too? Whatever. Come on, man. You gotta get out the vehicle. I'm telling you what's going on, sir. Don't pull me out the vehicle. Come on. I'm telling you what's going on, sir. You got my arm and everything. I got you on record everything. Voice record everything. You pulling on me. Hey, open the door. You pulling on me. You black and you pulling on me. Man, hush up. Thanks. Hey, can I go out there? Let's go. Get out the car. Get out the car, man. I'm sitting. Hey, open up the door. Open up the door. Yo, my man. Get out the car, man. Get out the car. Hey, open the door.
Hold my hand. Look what he grabbing for.
You gonna taser me? Bro, get out the car. I'm just trying to stop my wife from leaving. You gonna taser me?
Yeah, we got my resistance.
Why are you doing all this, man? I got a whole load of pistol on me, sir. Dude. I got a whole load of pistol on me, sir. Bro, fucking... It is loaded. It's loaded. On God, on lead hoover, on my dead grandma, it's loaded. Bro, relax. Okay? I'm telling you, it's been loaded, sir. Bro, relax. It's been loaded. Sit down, man. What are you doing? Don't shoot me. Bro, what the fuck are you doing? It's not loaded. It's not loaded.
No, we're not finna play these fucking games with no guns. So he need to get his shit together.
It's a crime pass, sir. Hey, man. She gonna leave me.
Miss, can you get out of the way, please?
She gonna leave me. Get out the car. It's not loaded, I'm telling you. Okay. Wait for me and her. He been great. Sir, me and her be trying to make things right before
William!
And she gonna leave me.
I got you.
You send me to Grady before anything.
Okay, how about this?
Take me to Grady so I can step my check up. How about that? I'm going to Grady before that, or I'm gonna get killed today.
No, you're not gonna get killed, alright?
Man, that's for real.
Dude, step out the car. We'll call Grady for you. Just come out the
idiot,
car.
bro.
Talk to us. We'll call Grady for you. Okay, come here.
I'm coming out.
All right.
Let me see your hands.
He gonna run.
Let's
I don't give a fuck about him running.
Long racket, come on.
Where's
that gun? That's my gun.
Yeah, it didn't have a magazine. I looked directly at it.
Yeah.
You could have had one in the damn chamber.
No,
She said it was unloaded.
He just went and stole this shit out of somebody's goddamn house and put it in my truck.
I have sped this up simply for the sake of time. If you go watch the original, this is going to go on for like 7 or 8 minutes. This guy with a gun in his hand is going to wander around this complex, taunting and threatening the officers, telling them all the things that he is going to do to them, and they're going to kind of stay where they are and keep firearms out and pointed near the guy. And literally, this is going to go on for 7 or 8 minutes. Let's go back to the badge cams at this point. We've got some more audio to listen in on.
Yo, can y'all move, please?
Move out the way! Move!
He need to put it down now. He good. I can't see by
Hey,
this
better start talking. Yeah. Where's the gun, man?
I got something.
Put it down!
He getting range on his invitation. Tell him,
Put the gun down, man.
put it down.
You think that taser gonna stop me?
Okay.
Taser not gonna stop me. I'm a whole gorilla. I'm a whole gorilla.
Put it down.
Put down the gun!
Put it down.
Yeah, please.
Put it down. Damaso, he grabbed him for something. It's not a gun. He got the gun back in his hand. Put it down.
Put the gun down, man!
Put it down.
Put the gun down!
Damaso,
What the fuck is our time out?
put it down. Put it down.
Put down the gun!
Put it down. Put it down. Damaso, I'm not waiting no longer. Keep coming in closer.
Y'all might go.
Put it down. Put it down.
She not going no fucking well. And I'm telling you.
Come on, put it down.
She gonna get pissed.
Put it down. Put it down. Put it down.
You shot me. You shot me. You got it. You got it. You shot me.
Breathe, Ariel. Breathe, Ariel. Let me see your hands. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Put your hands out. Put your hands out. We good. Can you start me a Grady, please, radio?
Okay, Grady is in route.
We're done. Calm down. Calm down. Calm down. Calm down. Calm down. Calm down.
I'm sorry. Okay, you fine, Ariel.
Good.
Good.
You okay?
I'm just.
Okay, thanks for your time. Give me an update on the bill. Was this self-inflicted?
That single shot proved fatal to the perp, who I think they probably could have shot about 478 times. They did take that one shot. That one shot proved fatal. There was some outcry in Atlanta over this one, but let's think about lessons. Mike, I know you've seen a lot of these. You had a lot of experience as a law enforcement officer. That one was something.
Yeah, that leaves us a lot to talk about.
Let's do it. Mike, I gotta say, probably the number one thing I saw the first time I watched this video is how incredulous I was that these officers let this go this far.
I've never seen anything like this, and I'm fully prepared to say this is the first time that I've been completely without. I can't explain what's happening here. I don't recognize this as American law enforcement in any way, shape, or form. I don't understand why there was a person who he called out right at the beginning with a gun in his hand and we're acting this casually. I don't care if you've been to this house 100 times. I don't care if you know these two by first and last name, or their kids are on your soccer team, or how familiar you are with them. A suspect with a gun in a domestic dispute does not get this kind of latitude to wander around and make threats and hold a firearm. I don't care if the wife said the gun's unloaded. Everything about this is just an absolute trash show.
Well, and I think it's not just the wife who's at risk here. It's everyone in the community. Because if this guy does have ammo for that gun, and again, then there's all the other inhabitants of the community, and there's all these officers who have responded to this clearly insane domestic at this point. And listen, I get it. You want to give somebody every possible benefit of the doubt. You don't want to shoot somebody. We want to use a firearm as a tool of last resort. But I think these officers were at incredible risk of great bodily harm for an incredibly long amount of time.
And here towards the end, where she finally has had enough and puts a round into this guy, we talked about this offline. I think the thinking there was, okay, this is the first time I've had a really good shot with a good backdrop. He's still armed. He's saying we're going to be here all night. I need to end this at some point. But I got to say, letting it go on for this long, they really failed in their duty to protect the public in a meaningful way. The public, the people that are out there milling around, a kid could have wandered in the middle of this. Anything could have happened there. And to just let him continue like this for that long, I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, and I get it. If you're listening to the audio, this officer says, I'm done with this, right? That this is enough. I honestly think that she waited way too long. That she should have gotten to that place of, no, we're not putting up with this anymore. Way sooner than this. And so I got no problems with this. And I think she actually shot where she had a good backstop. She had brick as her backstop. And no, I got to stop this guy who has a gun from continuing to be a threat to everyone. But I wish she'd have made that decision 12 minutes prior.
I got to tell you, at any moment, at any time during this entire 7+ minutes of this nonsense, this guy could raise that gun and fire off an effective round at someone, at a cop or at a third party. And it's possible and likely he's just working himself up to actually follow through with it. He's trying to build up the courage and talk himself into doing something foolish. And again, like you said, good backstop. I mean, this was a righteous shoot, but why it took this long, I know I sound like a broken record, why it took this long to get to this point is absolutely ponderous to me.
Yeah. I also want to talk about here at the end, we see the officer, she got the shot that she needed, got good illumination on the guy afterwards, had everybody else get him into custody, and then had a bit of an emotional moment here. And I know we're going to occasionally get somebody who says, oh, you know, she couldn't handle herself emotionally or whatever. The reality is we see men and women both. After a deadly force encounter, the cortisol that they get, you know, when the adrenaline has worn off there after that bit, you don't know how you're going to respond emotionally. And this is very possible for men and women both, so you should expect it.
Yeah, you know, men and women are built differently. They have different sort of emotional framework. But the fact is, if you listen to my podcast, every single officer I've had on there, and they've all been male so far, at least, every single one of them talks about the aftermath of this, and it's just a matter of time as to when this happens. It can happen instantly, like it did in her case, where this all comes home, that I've been in this extremely stressful situation for entirely too long, by the way, and now I've shot someone, and all the thoughts going through her head, like, is he going to make it? And am I going to be pilloried by the public? And all these things are racing through her mind right now. Am I going to be liable? And that release just happened a little sooner for her than it does maybe for some other people. And a male officer, you might see him breathing heavily or making, manly noises or whatever the case would be. It's the same thing. It's just a different manifestation of it.
Yeah, amen. The one last thing I will say on this one is that her fellow officer who came up to her and comforted her, I think that's a very good thing. He said, calm down. I would prefer a phrase like, take a deep breath.
Yeah.
Like, you're okay.
It's going to be okay.
Yeah. It's going to be all right. That helps them kind of recenter themselves emotionally. Listen, one of the craziest badge cams I've ever seen. I do think that the officer was clearly justified in the moment to use defensive force. I think it could have been used in so many places before this. I can't even stop it to do that because this video would be 3.5 hours long. In the end of things, I think she did what she had to do, and let's just move on from there.